Greetings from outside Johns Hopkins on day 42 post-bone marrow transplant. I promise to share the good, the bad, and the ugly and be transparent about this cancer fight. And graft versus host disease, what I'm going through right now, which is why I look like this, certainly meets that criteria of good, bad, and ugly. It is very hard to deal with. The good part is the fact that I have graft versus host disease. Despite the pain, doctors say they want it. They want to see this fight. This is the fight between the graft, which is my sister, and the host, which is my marrow. They said my sister's marrow right now is waking up saying, hey, I'm in the wrong body. What can I do? And it starts fighting my marrow, who sees my sister's marrow as an intruder. So despite the pain I'm in, they want this fight to rage on. The ugly part, as I mentioned, it shows up in the form of a bad rash. It's terribly painful. I sat up all night. I can't sleep because the pain is so bad. But the doctors, they don't want to stop it. They want this fight to go on, not only just because my sister's marrow needs to settle in and take over, but something also fascinating that my sister's marrow can do is as it fights and takes over, it can gobble up any remaining leukemia cells, and they're hoping that if they let this keep raging on my face and getting a little worse, that it can eat up any remaining leukemia cells if there are any. So I have to sit and suffer through it and armor up, and that's the point of this, and I will get through it. I'm very strong. Despite being emotional, missing Gabriel, I know I can do this. But also bad, if graft versus host disease spreads to a larger percentage of my body, this is where they start to get very concerned. Again, they want the little fight, not the big fight. If it gets any larger, they're going to have to do a biopsy, perhaps on my arm or somewhere else, and then also give me a steroid to stop the spread. They don't want to have to stop it if they don't have to. So they just told me today, you have to stay strong. We know it hurts. We know it's painful. We know you're not sleeping. But just stick it out as long as you can, because this is for the bigger picture, the greater good of wiping out my cancer completely and for a cure. Also bad and tough, as you guys know, I cried last week thinking of my son. This all hangs in the balance of whether I get to go home for Christmas. So pray that it does not spread, that it just stays right here just to let me know that it's doing something in my body. And I could see my son, because teachers called me from his school today saying Gabriel was crying and wanted to speak to his mommy. It's very hard for him to understand, and it's very hard for me to get through this and be away from him. So I ask all of you to armor up. Thank you for your prayers and your support, and be prepared for life. You don't know what life's going to throw you. And I know if you armor up, you can be just as prepared as I am. Thank you.